What is grief? Grief is the suffering, the experience of suffering that people have after they've experienced a loss, a great loss, usually. Often that's about losing a person, but sometimes it can also be great sickness or great big changes in life as well. But by and large, we associate it with the loss of a person. It's not a sickness, it's the natural response to losing something, the natural pain. Therapy can be useful to help someone bear that pain, but it's certainly not something that should be fixed or not something that should be strategized its way out of. I probably would be very, very careful and very reluctant to give advice to someone who's experiencing grief. I wouldn't feel like there was advice I needed to give them, even though people can be really quick to sometimes try and give advice and help someone out of that kind of situation, because it can be hard to sit with someone in that kind of suffering. However, I might want to help someone to seek comfort and to try and find comfort in whatever way they can, in a way that will help them to bear the pain that they're experiencing and that they must go through. There's sort of no way around the pain sometimes, but there are things that we can do to help bring ourselves comfort at such a difficult time. Different people will have their own ways that they're comforted, that they receive comfort the best. Some people find comfort from their connection with other people. It's probably the extroverts that would really, get a lot out of their friendships and their relationships, and they need to be close to loved ones. That will help them a lot. Other people might need to be alone. Some people might get a lot of comfort. I think actually physical comfort is hugely underrated. So doing things that actually bring your body comfort and calm and a sense of just feeling a little bit better. Okay, so again, I would be really careful to say that there's any one particular way. I was thinking about this earlier, and what I realised, or what I thought, was each person would need to do their business with God in their own way. And that would depend on who they are and what their personality is and what their background is and what their experience of grief is, but also based on their relationship with God and what their experience of their faith is. So that's going to work out entirely different from other people. So it will be recognizing that you'll need to do your business with God, whatever that is. That might be about expressing your pain to God, or asking God for help, or it might even be expressing your anger at God, or you're questioning God and things like that. However, I do think there are some things, I think, in the first place, before grief, not in the middle of grief, but before grief, to have a good grounding in what the Bible says and knowing the truth about God and knowing the truth about the story of what's happened in the world, I guess, can help us to understand why grief and why suffering is in the world in the first place. Those sorts of things can help. And I've heard that a lot when you speak to older Christians sometimes. It certainly doesn't mean their suffering is any less, but they can put it within a framework of how they already understand God and understand what the Bible tells them, to be grounded in that already. I would be quick to listen and quick to just try and be present with them. I would be really careful before giving any advice or before trying to fix them or offer them any strategies. I would imagine they probably might take offense at that, because that, this grief isn't something you can fix or you can strategize your way out of. It's something that must be born. It's a suffering that must be born. So yeah, I wouldn't try and offer advice or tell them, or not be one of Job's friends and tell them what they're doing wrong. I think people can get really impatient with people who are grieving, because grief isn't quick. And in our society, we've got this really quick and cold kind of grieving process in Anglo, English background sort of a culture where it's wrapped up quite quickly, but that's actually not how grief needs to go. It's quite a long process. Can take years sometimes, and people lose patience. So I'd say be patient. And I guess one other thought I had is to try and look for how that person needs you to be with them. Try and look at them and what they need, rather than what you think you would need or what you think they need, but look for what they need and how they need you to be.
And is it fair, do you think, to ask that question of them? Like, how can I best be with you through this grief?
I think that's a really good question.
Yeah.
And they might say, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't mind betting people would appreciate being asked that,
Yeah.
even if they don't know the answer.
Mm.
But yes, certainly. Because they then can let you know, I need space.
Yeah.
Or they can let you know, please call in on me in 6 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Or, yes, I'd like meals, but actually I really do want a friend to be with me. They can let you know that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good question.